This type of whistle is typically made of ceramic. Its appearance often features characteristics associated with death, such as a skull shape. When this type of whistle is blown, it produces a very sharp and terrifying sound, resembling the scream of someone in extreme fear or pain. Human civilization has developed for over 5,000 years. During this time, countless brilliant cultures have emerged. Although these cultures have faded with time or been absorbed by later civilizations, the artifacts they left behind continue to influence us subtly. Some of them even baffle modern science. The mysterious Voynich manuscript, the stone dagger of Tutankhamun from ancient Egypt, and the golden hat that could predict astronomical events from 3,600 years ago. In this episode, Mingxin will present 15 mysterious ancient artifacts, and these artifacts will challenge your understanding of ancient people. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you can be the first to see more exciting content. Alright, then let our story begin now. 15th. Greek fire. Greek fire was an ancient superweapon. Originating from the Byzantine Empire in the 7th century, it was especially famous at sea. Of course, it is not known to be a Greek fire, it is purely because the Byzantines spoke Greek. So it was named Greek fire. The most terrifying aspect of this weapon is that it can burn on water, and once ignited, it cannot be extinguished. The exact formula for Greek fire has always been a mystery. There are no exact records to tell us what it was made of. But based on historical records and scientific speculation, scientists believe Greek fire may have contained sulfur, along with petroleum and lime. These substances, when combined, could produce an intense flame that even water couldn't extinguish. Greek fire could be used in various ways, but it was most commonly fired from a device for naval warfare. This device was typically mounted at the front of the ship, and could shoot flames at enemies. In addition, Greek fire could also be stored in ceramic containers, to be used as a primitive incendiary weapon. It could be thrown at people in the form of grenades or arrows. The tactical value of Greek fire was extremely high. It could quickly ignite ships, and even if people tried to douse the flames with water, it would be difficult to put out. The terror and destructive power of this weapon made people tremble in fear at the time. However, due to the highly confidential formula of Greek fire, over time, and with the decline of the Byzantine Empire, this special formula was ultimately lost. Although scientists have tried to recreate Greek fire, to this day, no replica has been able to fully replicate the characteristics of Greek fire. Rank 14. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, a group of sponge divers near the island of Antikythera, off the coast of Greece, discovered a shipwreck. On board, they found many ancient artworks and other valuable artifacts, including a rather unremarkable-looking iron. This item is known as the Antikythera mechanism. It was manufactured around 100 BC. At first, scientists had no idea what it was used for. It wasn't until the 21st century, 100 years later, that they understood. It turns out that it is a highly sophisticated astronomical calculator. After reconstruction by computers, the item looks like a heavy book. There are over 30 precise gears inside. These wheels interact in complex ways. They move the hands on multiple dials. Its main function is to predict and display the positions of the sun and the moon. It also indicates the times of solar eclipses. Additionally, it can show the phases of the moon and important dates in ancient calendars. For example, various religious festivals and sports events. Scientists speculate that the mechanism might have included functions to track multiple significant dates, helping people know when to engage in these activities. Some researchers even believe it could track the movements of the 5 major planets. It could be said that the Antikythera mechanism has completely reshaped our understanding of ancient knowledge. 13th place. Inca suspension bridges. The Inca bridge was a type of suspension bridge made from plant materials. In the past, it served as an important transportation method for connecting mountainous regions in the Inca Empire of South America. These bridges were made from a local grass called ichu. People wove this grass into ropes, and then used these ropes to construct the bridges. The bridge was primarily composed of 3 parts: the bridge deck, load-bearing and supporting, The bridge deck is where people walk, while the load-bearing cables are thicker ropes that support the main weight of the bridge. The supports are located by the side, to provide support for those crossing the bridge, and increase safety. These bridges may seem simple in material, but they are actually very sturdy. They can bear the weight of many people crossing at the same time. Even in windy and rainy conditions, they remain stable. Every year, the local community comes together to maintain or rebuild these bridges. This is a traditional custom, and a way to promote community unity. Everyone, let's work together, using traditional methods and tools, to replace the old grass with new, ensuring the bridge's safety and usability. Number 12. The Phaistos Disc. The Phaistos Disc is a mysterious ancient disc, made from clay. The diameter is approximately 16 centimeters. The rim of this disc can be traced back to around 1700 BCE. Both sides of the disc are imprinted with a series of complex symbols. It is estimated that there are a total of 45 different symbols. These symbols were pressed using a special technique. 36 Vin. $37 Papyrus 38 Rosette. Each symbol is made using a separate mold. Then pressed onto the clay, similar to the seals we use today. The symbols include various figures, animals, and plant images. There are also some more abstract symbols, to indicate their original meaning. The exact meaning of these symbols remains a mystery. Scholars suggest that they may represent some form of ancient writing. However, no specific content has been deciphered. Archaeologists speculate that the disc may have been used for religious activities, to record laws, or to transmit other information. But due to the lack of relevant historical texts and detailed background information, it has not been clarified what this disc was actually used for. Criminals and crime fight. Number 11. Maine. In 1957, an amateur archaeologist named Ling E. Malaro and his team were conducting an archaeological dig in Cape Nettic, Maine, when they accidentally discovered a coin. The coin was a Norwegian piece made of silver, from the 11th century. Specifically, it can be traced back to around 1065 to 1080. This discovery caused a significant stir at the time. Because of its emergence, it is very likely that the Chinese had reached North America around the year 1000. This was nearly 500 years before Columbus's discovery of the New World. But there are also those who believe that the facts may not be so. The coin may have been traded to North America through some means. It was not directly brought by the Vikings. Further evidence also suggests that at the location where the coin was found, there is another item with obvious Nordic characteristics. There are no other obvious Norse artifacts found in the area, so some people speculate that this item might be a forgery. Number 10. Roman dodecahedron. Roman dodecahedron. This is a mysterious small object unearthed from ancient Roman sites. It is generally made of stone or bronze. Sometimes there are iron-like ones. This object is about the size of a fist. It is composed of 12 dodecahedral faces. Each dodecahedral face usually has a circular hole at its center. The sizes of these holes vary on different dodecahedra. These mysterious objects have been discovered in many places across Europe. For example, Germany, France, Austria, and so on. They look like exquisite crafts. However, their purpose remains a mystery. Moreover, there are no records in history about them. Some speculate they might be measuring tools, used to determine dates or specific astronomical positions. Others believe they could have been used in some religious rituals, or as props for some games. Another theory is that this object might have been used for knitting gloves. Each side has 5 fixed points. After securing the yarn on them, you can knit fabric pieces the size of fingers. Once these pieces are assembled together, they form the shape of a glove. Of course, this is just a speculation. The purpose of the Roman dodecahedron remains unknown. There is no authoritative explanation. Number 9. Tutankhamun's stone dagger. In 1925, archaeologist Howard Carter discovered a remarkable item. In the tomb of Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, the dagger made of stone. The total length of the dagger is 34.2 centimeters. Its width reaches 3.1 centimeters. The blade is made of stone iron. This certainty comes from the fact that it is made of stone. That is because archaeologists found a very high proportion of diamond on the blade. Archaeologists found a very high proportion of diamond on the blade. For example, the iron content in ordinary meteorite rocks is usually below 1%. However, the content in this dagger is as high as 30%. Additionally, the nickel content on this dagger is also significantly higher than that of iron rocks on Earth. This kind of dagger, made with high levels of nickel and iron, has greater hardness and resistance to corrosion. In addition, the hilt of the dagger is made of gold. It is adorned with intricate patterns and hieroglyphs. These designs are not only beautiful, but they may also carry certain religious or symbolic meanings. Finally, the sheath of the dagger is made of pure gold. The sheath is decorated with exquisite patterns and motifs. This rare stone dagger has shaken the entire archaeological community. In ancient Egypt, stone was regarded as a sacred material, because it comes from the heavens. The stone iron items represented royal authority, such as Tutankhamun's dagger, which displayed its special status and significance. Therefore, this dagger is not only a practical weapon, but also a sacred symbol. It reflects the divinity and authority of the pharaoh. It is said that, when this dagger was displayed, it was placed on Tutankhamun's thigh, while other valuables were set farther away from him. From this, it can be seen that Tutankhamun must have been very fond of this dagger during his lifetime. 8th place. The Voynich Manuscript. Research estimates that this manuscript was created between 1404 and 1438. Its author and contents remain unsolved to this day. In 1912, a bookseller named Wilfrid Voynich discovered and purchased it, hence the name. Since then, it has attracted great interest from scholars. They have attempted to decode the text and images of this book, but have not succeeded to this day. The manuscript contains about 240 pages, but it is said that some pages are missing, so there could be more in theory. The manuscript contains 170,000 mysterious characters. These characters are written in an unrecognizable language. They resemble a form of the Latin alphabet, CCA. The entire book is written in this mysterious script. It also includes 370 illustrations. Many illustrations depict various plants. However, these plants do not correspond to most plants in the real world. It also contains some illustrations of celestial bodies and astrological signs. However, the meaning that is to be expressed remains incomprehensible to this day. Additionally, there are some character illustrations. Various images of nude women seem reasonable on paper. Behaviorally, they can be understood. However, the meaning they are trying to convey is still elusive. It is also something that people cannot grasp clearly. Finally, there are some illustrations related to herbal medicine. Currently, the Voynich manuscript is preserved at Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library. Many cryptographers, historians, and linguists have studied it. But the exact meaning of the manuscript's text and images remains an unsolved mystery. 7th. The Iron Pillar of Delhi. In the capital of India, New Delhi, there is a very famous iron pillar. It stands in the courtyard of a temple complex. This iron pillar has a history of over 1,600 years. The pillar is about 7.2 meters tall, and weighs around 10 tons. Its diameter ranges from 31 to 47 centimeters. The reason for this phenomenon? It is because the bottom diameter of the iron pillar is relatively wide, while certain areas are relatively narrow. The most notable feature of this iron pillar is that it is made of wrought iron with a purity of 99.72%. Despite enduring hundreds of years of wind and rain, the surface of the iron pillar shows very little wear. Scientists have discovered that the surface of the iron pillar has a special protective layer, made of iron and oxygen. The thickness of the protective film is about 2 millimeters. This layer acts as a protective barrier to prevent further corrosion of the iron pillar. There is also an inscription on the iron pillar written in Sanskrit. This inscription praises a king named Chandragupta. There is a popular saying that the builder of the iron pillar was actually Chandragupta's son. This newly appointed ruler built this iron pillar to commemorate the great achievements of Giha's father. That's why the iron pillar was constructed. The Baghdad Battery is an element. The Baghdad Battery was discovered in 1938. It was found during an archaeological excavation in Baghdad, Iraq. According to archaeologists' estimates, it was likely manufactured between 250 BC and 224 AD. This battery consists of a ceramic container, a copper cylinder, and an iron rod. The ceramic container serves as the vessel, with a height of about 13 centimeters, and a diameter of approximately 8 centimeters. The cylinder fits against the inner wall of the container, and the top has a cover used to seal it. Then, the iron rod is inserted through the hole at the center of the copper cylinder. Placed in the center of the copper cylinder, scientists discovered that, if certain acidic or saline liquids are added to this device, such as wine, vinegar, or lemon juice, the Baghdad battery can generate electric current. Some people online have successfully tested this method, and managed to light a bulb. Then it must prove that this is a battery. Some scholars believe that the object may not be a battery. Moreover, the current generated in this way is very small. They are more like some kind of prop used in rituals. Fifth place. Crystal skulls. Crystal skulls are sculptures that resemble human skulls. Mainly made from crystal or translucent stones, many people believe these skulls have special powers, such as healing or predicting the future. Their sizes and shapes also vary greatly. Some are nearly the size of a real human skull. There are many theories about the origins of these crystal skulls. Some people believe they are from ancient civilizations. For example, the civilizations of the Maya or Aztecs created what may be a 1,000-year history of lips. There's also a popular saying that there are a total of 13 crystal skulls. They are placed all around the world. For example, in Paris, in museums in London and Washington. It is said that when these skulls are gathered together, it will unleash some enormous energy, or it may reveal some mysterious information. However, scientists conducted tests on it, and the explanation given is that most of these skulls are actually modern artifacts. In other words, they are all actually fakes. There is no mysterious power at all. Fourth place. Klarksdorp spheres. Klarksdorp balls. These are spherical stone balls discovered in the Klarksdorp area of South Africa. The size of the spheres typically ranges from millimeters to centimeters. They have a very smooth exterior. Some spheres even have long, thin patterns or protrusions on their surface. So sometimes, these spheres have been linked to people and aliens. They are believed to likely be remnants left by aliens, or artifacts from some prehistoric civilization. However, scientists explain that these spheres are naturally formed. They were formed within sedimentary layers that date back 3 billion years. Sedimentary layers are formed by the accumulation of materials from ancient groundwater or seawater. As time goes by, these sediments are compressed. They eventually form hard rocks. During this process, certain materials may concentrate in specific areas under particular conditions. Gradually, they form spherical structures. And interestingly, when this type of sphere is cut open, the colors inside and outside of the sphere are obviously different. It's like a liquor-filled chocolate, which brings great joy. The reason for this may be due to the different substances inside and outside. Third place. The Atacama Death Whistle. Originating from the Aztec civilization in Mexico 700 years ago, this type of whistle is typically made of ceramic. Its appearance often features characteristics associated with death, such as a skull shape. When this type of whistle is blown, it produces a very sharp and terrifying sound, resembling the scream of someone in extreme fear or pain. The mechanism of this whistle is similar to that of other wind instruments. Sound is primarily produced through air vibrations. When people blow air through the whistle's mouthpiece, the airflow is forced into the internal chamber of the whistle. This chamber is designed with specific shapes and sizes to create vibrations at specific frequencies. These vibrations are released through the opening of the whistle, producing a sound similar to a scream. In Aztec culture, the uses of this whistle are very diverse. On one hand, it may be used in religious ceremonies to mimic the voices of deities or the cries of the dead, adding a sense of mystery and solemnity to the rituals. On the other hand, there is a reason it may be used in conflicts to summon people with this terrifying sound. The morale of the Shadow Army. Second place. Lycurgus Cup. The Lycurgus Cup is a very special piece of ancient Roman glass. It was made around the 4th century AD. It has a history of 1,600 years. This cup was made using a technique known as the cane technique. The outer layer of the cup features intricate hollow decorations. It forms a three-dimensional pattern. The pattern on the vase depicts stories from Greek mythology. The main character is a king named Lycurgus. He is grappling with a grapevine. The grapevine symbolizes the god of wine, Dionysus. Lycurgus vase's most distinctive feature is that it changes color in different environments. The material of the vase is very special. It is made of glass containing gold and silver nanoparticles. These particles are on the nanoscale, so small that they are invisible to the naked eye. However, they have a decisive influence on the color of the object. When light shines on the outside of the object, for example, when you look at it against the light, it will present a beautiful green color. But if the light shines out from inside the object, for example, when the light comes from above the object will appear in a mysterious red color. The reason for the color variation is that gold and silver particles interact with light under different lighting conditions. This results in different color effects. This color-changing effect has been difficult to understand in the past decade. Until the arrival of nanotechnology, it suddenly dawned on the scientists. It can be said, without reservation, that in some ways, people 1,600 years ago were more insightful than modern humans. Number 1. The Golden Hat. The golden hats are mysterious and exquisitely crafted ancient headpieces. Each one is made from gold with a purity of 85 to 90%. A small amount of silver is mixed into the hat, copper and tin. These hats date back to the late Bronze Age. They were made between 1400 BCE and 800 BCE. This means they have a history of approximately 2,800 to 3,600 years. So far, a total of 4 hats have been discovered. One in Germany, one in France. The height of these hats generally ranges from 75 to 89 centimeters. These hats are very lightweight. The average thickness is about 0.6 millimeters. Yes, that's correct. It is indeed 0.6 millimeters. What attracts people to these hats is not their golden material. It's the especially intricate and detailed patterns on them. These patterns are not aesthetically pleasing, and also possesses certain astronomical significance. The decorations on the hat include symbols of the sun, moon, and stars. There are also other patterns and symbols that may represent specific astronomical cycles. These decorations are believed to have been used by ancient astronomers to track and predict celestial movements, such as the phases of the moon and the solar cycle. Among them, the golden cap stored in Berlin, Germany, is more complex than the other 3. The entire hat is engraved with 1,739 intricate patterns. These patterns form different concentric circular shapes. The number of circles within each concentric circle varies. They express different meanings. These patterns are like a complex code. Through this code, one can calculate the times of solar or lunar eclipses. They can also help determine the best times for planting and harvesting, among other things. This information was extremely valuable at the time. The designers of the mysterious information on these hats were regarded by people of that era as having sacred or supernatural powers. They were clergy or high leaders who could understand the mysteries of the universe. They were even considered aliens. However, scientists have conducted extensive research on the patterns and symbols on the Berlin gold hat, but there is still a lot of information on the hat that they cannot understand. They're just as clueless about it. They have no idea how to make use of this information. Alright then, that's all for what I'm sharing with you this time. What do you think about these 15 mysterious ancient artifacts? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell. This way, you won't miss more interesting content. See you in the next episode.